Hello there. My name is Jacob Moncrief, and for the AP Bio Summer Assignment, I read the book The Immortal Life of Henrietta Lacks, written by New York Times best-selling author Rebecca Skloot. To begin, I'm going to read a little excerpt from the synopsis. It says, "Doctors took her cells without asking. Those cells never died. They launched a medical revolution and a multi-million-dollar industry." So what this is referring to is Henrietta had moved to Maryland when she was about 20 years old with her husband, Day. One night she had a knot in her stomach that was really hurting her, so she went to the gynecologist and it found out it was cervical cancer. So later that month she had a surgery. Her surgeon was named George Guy, and he was a very controversial man. He had cut out tissue from her cervix while operating on her, and had looked at the cells and discovered that they were the first immortal human cells to ever be found. So he packed them up into a bunch of vials and sent them around the world, and millions of people have done tests on them, and they're still around today. On the right of the screen, you can see a woman and a grouping of cells. These cells, where the arrows are pointing, are called HeLa cells, which is short for Henrietta Lacks. Henrietta Lacks is that woman. So as we look at each of my favorite parts of the book, I'm also going to relate them to the big ideas. So here we are, big idea 1. The process of evolution drives the diversity and unity of life. And enduring understanding 1a, change in the genetic makeup of the population over time, is evolution. The big key word here is evolution. Now, there wasn't necessarily a change in the genetic population surrounding Henrietta. However, there was a change in the population of her own cells. Each human cell contains a string of DNA at the end of each chromosome, which we can see here, which is named a telomere. These shorten each time a cell divides until the cells die, like a hair cell or a skin cell. An enzyme, telomerase, could rebuild these strands. The telomerase and HeLa cells are stronger than any other. So here we can see the telomere falling off, and my hand acting as the telomerase, putting the telomere back on. This is why HeLa cells could outlive any other. They have evolved to live immortally. Big idea 2 states, biological systems utilize free energy and molecular building blocks to grow, reproduce, and to maintain homeostasis. Now, one thing that each cell needs is a constant supply of free energy. For the cell to survive, all parts must function, but most importantly, there must be a constant supply of energy. By the end of the process, it will come full circle, and energy will be given off, and then later subsequently brought back. My favorite part of the entire book is when Dr. Guy sent the cells via plane across the ocean. This little man that I'm drawing acts as a flight attendant or a pilot. Before each flight, the pilots and the flight attendants would be briefed on what they were carrying, which was the most important cells known to man. They would be told that they needed to put the cells in their jacket pockets to keep them warm and give off body heat. Since growth and dynamic homeostasis are maintained by the constant movement of molecules across cell membranes, the usage of body heat to help the cells thrive was perfect. Since cell membranes are permeable, heat can easily enter and homeostasis will continue. One of the most important parts of the book scientifically comes from big idea 3. Living systems store, retrieve, transmit, and respond to information essential to life processes. The processing of genetic info is imperfect and is a source of genetic variation. By the end of the book, scientists all over the world began experimenting with the HeLa cells. They would mix them with viruses such as HIV or polio. They would splice them together and mix them in different ways, and they would see how they reacted. As each of the viruses reacted differently, each of them replicated in the cells. Some changes were positive, like the killing of cancerous cells, but some destroyed all the cells. Since the polio and the HeLa, or the HIV and the HeLa, couldn't necessarily mix, they couldn't make like HIVlio or HeLaio. It didn't really work that way, so the cells would just die. By the closure of the book, scientists began using HeLa cells to help treat polio and HIV, creating a better world for us all. Although she will never know it, the legacy of Henrietta Lacks will live on in the eyes of the whole world wide forever, as a savior of countless lives and a hero to us all.